Hello everyone and welcome back to Destiny. It is week 4 of the Challenge of the Elders, and that brings us a new set of modifiers. This week we start with Brawler, which grants you more melee damage, Super Kill Bonus, which grants you more points on your scorecard for super kills, and Ironclad, which gives more enemies shields. I knew the Super Kill Bonus was going to come eventually. I was just hoping that it would come with like a Mayhem type modifier that would grant you a much faster recharge of your super. But wishful thinking aside, this challenge actually isn't very difficult, and you can actually hit 90,000 points in 2 runs pretty easily. And with supers generally dealing large amounts of damage, Ironclad doesn't prove to be too much of an issue. And with that, let's jump into the bosses for this week's Challenge of the Elders. First up, we start with the Overmind Minotaur, which doesn't pose too much of a threat. He will cast a suppression field, but just stay out of his line of sight when you hear him cast the attack and you will be fine. Next up, we've got Varix's favorite boss, Psylocke the Defiled. Again, just stay out of his pools of fire and everything will be okay. And finally, we have the debut of a new boss, Naru Usk, Servant of Oryx. He's basically just a giant Taken Centurion. He doesn't have any shields or mechanics, so no real strategy there. For this week's loadout, we're going to start with weapons that'll help you get your super faster, starting with Bad Juju and its String of Curses perk. Essentially, this will help you gain your super a little bit faster than getting kills with any other weapon. The next choice is Zalo's Supercell with Bolts from the Blue. Double kills with this weapon charge a small amount of super energy and return ammo to the magazine. Either of these weapons are going to do great to help you regain that super energy as fast as possible. However, if you have an artifact that grants you orbs on arc precision kills, the Supercell will be the better choice. Moving on to subclass builds, starting with the Titan, I highly recommend Sunbreaker. The perk I recommend is either Forge Master or Suncharge. Suncharge can actually be a better choice, as you'll see in a moment. Otherwise, I recommend Flameseeker from the first column of passives, simply to help you hit the target in all the chaos. As far as exotics go, it's pretty much going to be up to you. If you want to make more orbs, I recommend the Crest of Alpha Lupi. Other than that, you can go ahead and pick whatever suits your playstyle. I also recommend a helmet that has either Angel of Mercy or Hands On or any of the perks that help you gain your super a little bit faster. Other than that, you're pretty much just going to want to stack your intellect as high as you can, but of course that should go without saying. Overall, Sunbreaker was really fun to use in the Challenge of the Elders this week. My team and I coordinated our supers, and it was amazing to see the Sunbreaker take out an entire wave of enemies with a single Hammer of Soul activation. The only real speed bump I found with Hammer of Soul was in the second room where all the Acolytes have Void Shields. Because of this, it would actually take multiple hammer hits to take out a single enemy. But that's where Suncharge came in. I had a feeling that Suncharge would count as a melee hit, and sure enough, you can steamroll through all your enemies with no problems at all. But speaking of melee hits, the Bladedancer is going to have the absolute best time this week with the challenge, since the Bladedancer hits count as melee. And so Bladedancers will absolutely rip through enemies like they're made of tissue paper. The only real perk that I recommend is going to be Encore. Killing an enemy with Arcblade extends its duration. A couple exotics I recommend for this challenge include the Mask of the Third Man, which makes Arcblade take less super energy, and as we learned in the video I did on this exotic, you get 3 extra hits, which will mean you get a few extra 100 points per activation. Another choice, and the one that I went with, is the ATS-8 Tarantella. Even though it only grants about a 5% increase in your super's charge rate, it was still more important for me to get my super faster than for it to last longer. Now, as you can see here, because of Brawler, Ironclad doesn't mean anything to the Bladedancer. On top of that, you also get a melee kill bonus. Because of this, Bladedancers will probably get the most points in this week's challenge. It's interesting that with Brawler on, Arcblade feels as strong as it should be all the time. I personally feel like there's an opportunity to buff Gunslinger and Bladedancer's damage in PvE, especially since this didn't really feel overpowered in any way. Most red bar enemies will die in one hit either way, but a buff to the base damage of Arcblade will help you feel a bit more confident against Majors. Or Ultras for that matter. Now, unfortunately for the Warlock, we all thought Radiance might be the obvious answer here, but it turns out that none of the kills done with Radiance, whether it's melee, grenade, or gun kills, unfortunately do not trigger the super kill bonus. It's a bit of a bummer, I know, but I actually had a lot of fun with the Voidwalker. For the perks, I recommend Shatter and Embrace the Void. There's not going to be anything native to your subclass that's going to help you get your super faster, but to help with that, I highly recommend the Obsidian Mind. The exotic perk on Obsidian Mind is Insatiable. Nova Bomb kills reduce the cooldown of your next Nova Bomb. I find that it gives you about a 10% boost per enemy you kill with the Nova Bomb. Another good choice is Light Beyond Nemesis to help you create additional orbs. For the most part, Nova Bomb was really good, just be careful not to pick any perks like Vortex, because any damage over time kills won't count towards super kills. And as you can see, Obsidian Mind is really good at letting you gain your super a little bit faster. So if you can find a group of enemies closely grouped together, that's going to be your best opportunity. Now, to get the most kills, you're probably going to want to stick with Stormcaller, but I just ended up going with Voidwalker just because it's probably my favorite Warlock subclass right now. As far as loot, I managed to actually get 2 of the Final Duty Pulse Rifles. The first one I got had Headseeker, not too big of a fan there, with the second perk being Glass Half Full. The second Final Duty I got had Outlaw and Glass Half Full, and those are kind of conflicting perks, so I might just test it out just to see how the gun is, but I'm going to really hope to find one with Outlaw and Hidden Hand. The third gun I got is the Nether Tachyon Rage, which instantly became Infusion Fuel. Do you have any helpful hints to help you get your supers faster for this week's challenge? Leave them in the comments below. Drop a like if you can, and subscribe for more Destiny content, and I will see you all next time.